Okay, folks, welcome to the third turn. It's the 18th of December in this southern campaign. In the last video, you may recall, the Germans had just reached the outskirts of Bastogne. They couldn't quite make it. First thing I need to say is I've made a couple of, well, quite a lot of movement miscalculations as they came. Where was the river here? Around here, Asselborn. I miscalculated tactical movement costs for moving through this terrain. It was mainly moving to here, which would have cost, and then to this road here. They went boom, boom, which would have cost them, let's see, rolling one, two, three extra movement points. 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5. So 5 extra movement points. So there would have been a couple of movement points back. In any case, I didn't make it. What else have I done wrong? I moved the second Panzer. I was moving Panzerlehr. I watched through my video, and as I was moving Panzerlehr formation, I moved a second Panzer unit. These guys here, they shouldn't have moved. So yeah, technically a couple of spaces back, but it hasn't mattered because the 101st Airborne arrived. They've set up their defense. They did have their defensive perimeter set up around Bastogne. They were there. They were able to set up. And then the first activation of the day, Germans got the initiative. 116th Panzer, which was occupying this area. I'm focused now on keeping clear of formations. So they drove northwest. They've captured Hoffelais, which was unoccupied, and then they shifted down this road, and the edge of the map is here. So they've come down here and hit the Americans. They had slightly weaker defences out here, so they've come down this road through Longchamps and cleared them out, cleared some more defenders, had a really great rolling series of attacks, box cars and some really nice rolls. They actually got an attack on Bastogne at the time. No, not for me. Panzer's last scene hasn't arrived for me yet. They got an attack on Bastogne. I had the gliders defending, so I had most of the strong airborne defending. They still are kind of out defending the north, northeast, east, southeast, and yeah, the gliders took a couple of hits, or one hit at least. I thought it was more than that. And because they've only so yeah, 2 steps. They start with 5 strength. Then I've rushed to get a stronger AR, 3rd, 5th, 2nd unit in there. They have a slightly higher action rating. With that done, I activated 101st. They shifted their forces around a bit, try and break up the German attack. 5th Fallschirmjäger then activated down the south here, and they were, you may recall, they were kind of around this area near Diekirch, and they activated to drive out here. They held Edelbruck, and they had to leave that to maintain their sort of command radius as they shifted west. They were in the best position, and the reason they did this is because we've got, you can see down here, Combat Command B, 10th Armoured, arriving as reinforcements. They didn't activate first, 101st Airborne did. 5th Fallschirmjäger, so figured they want to cut this main road before CCB could reinforce Bastogne. And they were, I maybe could have done it with the 26th Volksgrenadier, but they were in the best position to do so. So they basically gave up Edelbruck, drove west, got a second activation, cut that road, occupy the primary road leading from CCB's reinforcement hex towards Bastogne. They won't be able to reinforce Bastogne now. And they, of course, captured Matelange, which is another objective hex. So 5th Fallschirmjäger did very well there. A couple of the units trailing suffered some isolation. That has happened. And as I said, they gave up Edelbruck. This then gave the 109th, 28th which was in this area, the opportunity to recapture, which is, what is that? I think a city hex. Yeah, it's a city hex, a very valuable city hex. They unfortunately rolled for a partial activation and couldn't make it. They just didn't have the movement to get there. They were stopped just outside the city. Then we had the 352nd Volksgrenadier. They've just activated last, this was earlier today, and they have not only they've come around the back of Ettelbruck, held onto the city. They didn't need to capture it because it was already in German control technically, but they have smashed into the 109th, 28th, and you can see there's only one. This is their headquarters here. That bridge is blown. It's the headquarters there. One infantry battalion up here. The rest have been wiped off the board because they didn't have a retreat path. So they'll return next turn. And we're getting some nice sort of formation blobs. So 352nd around here, 5th Fallschirmjäger around here. You can see their combat train will use tracks, and it is ghosts at the moment. But they've done their job. They just need to hold there. This now brings us to the next Allied activation, and we've got a couple of options. Here we've got the green markers, quite a lot of options actually. And given what's happened in the south with 5th Fallschirmjäger, I'm thinking I might try and get CCB to smash through and relieve Bastogne. That's right down the bottom here. So here they are. It's a bit glary. Yeah, let's activate them. So CCB 10 will activate. They are fatigue 1, and the Allies on the 18th are still suffering from I think it's a -1 to their snafu roll. Yeah, -1 to their snafu roll. So it's a -2. There will be some positive modifiers, and a roll of 5 will give them a partial snafu. So it'll be -2 down to 3, plus optimal distance because they're in an entry hex. What else? Maybe at least 4, but not enough for 7. So they get a partial, and well, they kind of need to push back in. It's hard to see the terrain there. I don't think it's a city. It looks like it's got a bit of a green blob there, but it's I think it's a village hex. But it's going to be tough attacking across this river. This is an attack. Well, if they attack across there, it's an attack across a major river, which is key terrain, basically. And there are 12 German steps there. It may be more prudent for them to try and push through the tracks. So we might set our objective. It's going to be a tough task, I will say that. Holding the 5th Fallschirmjäger in Martelange with 1, 2, 3, 4 hex sides of key terrain. These Americans basically have to get kind of hook around them. They could cross. They could potentially cross that stream out in the west, but this is really difficult terrain for these attack movers to get through. So as I said, I'm going to try and push out to the right instead, and maybe we can get through these trails towards Bonlade. Yeah, we'll try and do that. Okay, so let's think about deployment. One, yeah, they're attacked, so they can just go ignore that zone of control because there's no. Oh no, there is AV support with 5th Fallschirmjäger, so I do have to worry about that AV, that zone of control. 1.5. It would be 2, 3, 4.5, 5. So they'd need to be on their deployed side. Let's give it a go. 1.5, 4.5, 5.5, and they're going to do an assault combat, shock combat, but they're going to preface this with some attack by fire. So this is actually in a terrain hex, which will help those defenders just a little bit. It'll hit on a 5 or 6, and I roll a 1, so no hit. Now let's do the shock combat. 8. 8 plus 3 is 11. We'll throw our artillery at it, so 12, 13, 13 minus 1 is 12 in a terrain hex is 11 with support 10 gives a result of A1 and a situational retreat. So they need to retreat back to their headquarters. Okay, and they are done. This nonetheless enables these guys to move through. 1, 4.5, 5, 6, and they are in non-terrain, non-key, non-defensible terrain, which should help the Germans a bit better. All right, so they will also preface this with, actually that's a dual unit, so it should have been, I believe, a 1 extra modifier, which would have been the same result, I think. Okay, attack by fire. A 2 is not going to hit. They'll now do shock combat. Roll of 5 isn't great. 5, 6, 7, 8. It's dual, so 9. I don't have any more artillery left with this formation. 9, 10 because it was preceded by attack by fire. I've lost count. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 because they're hard red. Minus 2 is 9. Support is 8. So a result of 8 gives me an A1 result. Task Force Cherry takes a hit. And a situational retreat. So again, they will retreat back to their headquarters. I think they'll try and hold there. Okay, that's it, clean up. But let's see if they can get us more fatigue first. They do suffer fatigue. That's not good. Sorry, I'm not done yet. There's other headquarters, other units to move. No, I should have moved the headquarters, sorry. Headquarters should move first. I will have to send this formation up to hold those Germans at the bridge, make sure they don't come across. Yeah, headquarters should always move first because they have to be in their command range. All right, let's roll to see if they get a second form activation. 4 or less, they do not. So they're done there. They're on the map, but they haven't moved far. This is what I'm thinking. If they can get up around here, they can hit 5th Volksarmee. 5th Volksarmee will have to worry about this, but there is this nice sewer river here blocking them. That's the end of their activation. Yeah, let's look at what the Germans can do. And I think we bring the 2nd Panzer up. It's time for them to have a go at Bastogne, see what they can do. It's going to be difficult to try to keep these formations all together. So here's the kind of main area. We've got 2nd Panzer mixed in. I need to even find their headquarters. I think actually they were way back here. They've been really, they're way over here. So that was technically illegal. This is the one that I moved accidentally. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's as far as I can get. Same with those guys. Okay, so let's look instead at Panzer. And they've got a couple of modifiers here. Here's their headquarters. In the middle here, they're mixed, suffering coordination issues. No fatigue, which is good, with the -1 game-specific snafu. They roll a 5, 6, 5, 4. Optimal distance, but Ghost Train is going to be a partial activation. And I think they'd like to clear out these engineers from this area. So, or I could send them around the top here, and they could take this main road through via Noville. So let's find their headquarters. It's in here, and they're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I'll set my headquarters up there. They also need to worry about CCR9 in their rear. They'll have enough, I'm pretty sure, to cover that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and a half, and I'll stop there. And then I'm just looking for a couple of options here. I could attack that battalion on the left there. This is in the objective zone. So I could start off with an attack out on the left here, see what we can do. It's got a pretty solid AR, and they're in woods. They're also in woods. So these are terrain hexes. Yeah, it's not going to be easy, I'll say that much. I think I'll start off on the left. So I'll do an attack on second 506 out here. We'll preface this with an attack by fire in a... Well, they're prepared defense now as well. So needing a 4 to 6, no, needing a 5 to 6, a miss. And then their shock combat is terrible. It's a 3, plus 5 is 8. We'll throw artillery, 9, 10, minus 5, 4, well, it's 4 or less, so that's an A2 result. Yeah, they really need to roll there, well there. Okay, move this marker so that makes it a bit clearer. Let's, I do want to kind of block CCR9. I'm going to try and do 2 things at once here. So, inventory, you can go 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3 and a half. That's also in the objective zone. We'll get 2 infantry units to attack the engineers there. This is only a 3-step unit. So I might use a destructive barrage here, where I can spend 3 artillery points. Now I already used 1, and we have a total of 4 to use. So if I use 3, it's all my artillery spent. I just kind of, I'm thinking I might wipe out those engineers. Well, it'd be nice if I could. So let's do this destructive barrage with our remaining 3 artillery points. They are in terrain, so I need a 4 or more on 3 dice. 1, One hit. Okay, but now I've got my regular attack. Here we go. That's a 9. 10, 11, 12, 13 for my AR. 14 for the assistants. 14 minus 2 for the Americans is 12. 11 prepared defense. 11, 10 for terrain. As a result of A1, and situational. So they will take a second step loss to hold their ground. All right. Now the rest of the Panzer are going to fill in this area and try and hold that northern flank. One, they may need to dismount. Mount up rather. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I might just hold them with the headquarters and bring this armour. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. This is only partial, so I've stuffed this up because they've only got half movement. I completely forgot about that. Partial activation only gives these guys half movement. I can't recall how far they've moved. These little rules that trick me up quite often. They should have only moved 8. I'll need to go back and check that and correct it. What else we got from Panzer? Where's the rest of them? Okay, a couple of guys through here. One, 2, that's all they can do. 1.5. They're on foot within that screening area. And I think that's it. So if I undo that combat, they didn't suffer any losses. I can't recall if that was a failure, wasn't it? So they actually lost 2, so I'll undo that as well. I can't recall where they've come from. I can always pull that headquarters back. I think they probably moved too far. Let's put them around there. I want to move their combat trains up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put their combat trains there. Yeah, we'll hold them there. Okay, so if I didn't do any attacking, no objectives, there's no attrition. They may get a second activation. They do. And their second snafu is another partial, but they are no longer suffering from coordination. So we can remove that. And another partial. Look, I might play it safe and not actually attack, just to compensate for their potential for additional movement last time. So they will flip and move up a bit closer. They'll dismount. And then 1, 2. They could attack, but I won't. I'll actually move the headquarters into Noble now as I can. Move the combat trains along that road to clear the primary for another formation. In fact, I will 1, 2. I'll move Panzer entirely north of that road to free this up for other formations coming through. Trying to minimise mixing of formations if I can. Right, the foot unit can now push that reconnaissance back even further. 1, 2, 3. I don't know if I really want to do that, but at least it gets them further away from that, let's say, basically zone of activity. Around there. And yeah, we'll hold there. They're not, this infantry attacking from the east is not the best position, but I would like to loop them around, but it's okay for now. Yeah, I'm just wondering if they should get an attack off, but they're in terrain. I'll hold. This is CCR9, that's CCR9. That's, I don't know where the 110-28 have got to. Where are they? This is the headquarters here. I think they've all been, they were the formation perhaps that I was meant to remove. So I removed the formation, it's not the headquarters, so they're gone. Remove that to reduce clutter. And yeah, that's it. So that was the second activation for Panzerlehr. No fatigue, and they're done. Yeah, it's another reason why you don't want to mix formation, because it gets messy, and as you can see, what I'm doing here, I'm getting confused by all these things stacking up. I think that's all okay. All right, back to the Americans. They may as well activate CCR9 up here and see what they can do. They kind of need to get out of there. They're out of supply. They don't have an MSR. I don't even know where their trains are. The trains are all the way down here. So that will be removed from the map. There'll be a -3 dice roll modifier to their snafu roll. A roll of 7, -3 is 4. Coordination is 3. Game specific brings it down to 2. There's nothing positive there. That's a fail snafu. They won't be doing anything. They can do a failure flip, I believe, to remove that coordination. That's about all they can do. But no movement, which is of some relief to the Germans, because they kind of just want to hang about there. They do, however, have to check for isolation. Now these units, reconnaissance and these guys down here, they are in command radius, but the MSR is blocked. So, I mean, they have a safe path to their headquarters. I think they're okay. There'll be no isolation there. Stack has a safe path to their headquarters, yes. And it doesn't matter. As long as they're in command radius, I don't think they're suffering isolation. Safe path. It depends on what's the meaning of safe path here. If it means safe path to the headquarters, then they're fine. If it means safe path to their MSR, that's something completely different. So safe path means it has a safe way to maintain connection with its own headquarters. Yeah, so that's all okay. They're all good. I mean, they're not good, they're failing their snafus, but they're alive. Okay, next activation now. And German choices. We could bring second panzer. We can try and clear Clairvaux. That's going to be messy. I might do that some other time. I might bring in the 26 Volks Grenadier, who are in this area, and I'm thinking they're in Velts around here. They've got a nice clear blob. They do have a coordination marker, but let's see how they go into -1 as well. Let's see what their snafu roll is. Ah, that's not good. That's a 3. This could get tricky. 3 game specific +1 is 4. Coordination 3. Fatigue down to 2. They are not mixed, so they're okay there. They have an MSR and unfortunately, well, it's optimal distance +1, but it crosses streams and it uses tracks. So it's down to 1. That's another fail, snafu. So they're not happy either. They'll do a failure flip to remove that and reduce their fatigue down to 0. Yeah, that's unfortunate. They were pretty active. Okay, well, they could have been pretty active. Back to the Americans. I don't have much left. All the activities now seems to be down. I think most of the rest of these actions will be down here in the southeast corner. And what are we going to do? It's got just a 109.28. This is the headquarters. This is their sole battalion on the board. Not much I can do there. I could. Maybe I can do something with CCA 9th Armoured. Let's try that. So they will activate. Their headquarters is in the centre here, kind of surrounded, in a bit of trouble. But if they can activate and get a good snafu roll, they might be able to upset the Germans. Let's see how they go. Ah, God. Well, a roll of 3 for snafu. Okay, so 3 -1 for turn specific is 2. Fatigue's okay. No coordination. No mixed formation. They've got a decent blob. It's a small blob, but it's okay. Their MSR is in fact blocked because of the zones of control of the Germans here, kind of surrounding their headquarters. So that's a failure. Yeah, geez. Yep, because that headquarters can't draw supply, it's kind of stuck in the middle here, got caught up. It's a failure. So they will put that there. Now, does that affect their prepared defence? Snafu effect 3.2k. I need to check these prepared defence rules. 1.7. Alright, so prepared defence, you can enter this. Yeah, if it obtains an MSR blocked marker. Okay, so this is where the sequencing is interesting. So they don't receive this marker. The MSR is blocked, but they don't get the marker until, well, let me check that as well. So the MSR, the main supply route is blocked. 3.1C. If, okay. If there is no complete MSR, the combat trains must be removed from the map. Off-map combat trains cause a -3 dice roll modifier. Okay, so that's what I've done. If the combat trains are already off-map, which they weren't, then they place an MSR blocked marker with additional snafu. So that's not the case. So my understanding is they'll maintain their prepared defense this turn, but next turn when they make their snafu roll, they'll place an MSR blocked marker, unless they've been able to miraculously get out of here, and that's when their prepared defense breaks down. But for now, it's okay. For now. Whew, okay, that's a lot of failed snafus. That's 3 failed snafus in a row. Back to the Germans, but look, I might hold it here for now. I know this has been a pretty quick play. I just want to get my head around a few things, double check those prepared defense and snafu, MSR rules. Yeah, so I'll stop here. There's still some activity going on here. We've got, so 276 have failed. Oh, they've activated yet. So 276 can activate. So these guys in the center here with this blob. We've got 212 to their right who can activate, and now we're really on a roll, but we've got now the 10th Armoured coming on. So these 2 German formations down here need to brace, and they do hold. The Germans do hold this victory location here on the right, but they're striving for this other one down here. It's way down the corner, sorry. So 212, both, they're almost in a prepared defense mentality. Once they get to a position, they still want to capture Echternach down here. Americans there still have 2 steps left. 4th Infantry is looking really stretched out. Here's their headquarters over here. They've got a good range of 10, so they can reach. In fact, I think they were suffering isolation. So that's another problem for the Americans. 10th Armoured, this is something the Americans could think about. They come on, they can punch pretty hard, but where? Do they try and reclaim this? Do they push through to Echternach and push 212 back? They just kind of go straight back across the river and hit the 2. There's so many options here for the 10th Armoured. So I'm going to think about that. I'm going to stop here, think about what they can do, take a pause, and plot an American counterattack. And, well, we've still got the 2nd Panzer as well. 2nd Panzer, and that's it. So 2nd Panzer, and they're up here. They've been driving on Clervaux and beyond Clervaux by accident. They've got their own supply issues. They have coordination problems. They've got cross streams. Yeah. So I'll figure that out as well. All right, folks. Thanks again. I'll be back soon.